Scorpio, what's up? Happy birthday to you. It's your girl D here with 8th House Readings and bringing you another astrology read. This is going to be for the month of November 2022. This is going to be a general read. Take what resonates, leave the rest. I will not be using cards with this reading. This is me reading the planetary alignments for each sign. It can resonate with everybody because everybody has Scorpio in their chart, but it may resonate more heavily with those who have Scorpio ascendant, Scorpio sun. Okay, but we're gonna see what's going on with you guys for the month of November. Well, we already know Scorpio in your first house. We got the sun, the moon. We got the sun, Venus, Mercury in the south node here, right? We're still fresh off the eclipse energies that happened on the 25th, so we're in the middle of eclipses. We got another one coming up on the 8th of this month in the sign of Taurus, your opposite polarity, also where the North Node and Uranus are. So, eclipse energies are all about releasing, energies that no longer serve us. And since Scorpio, on a negative end can deal with a lot of toxicity, a lot of toxic emotions and feelings that are bottled up, pent up because it's fixed water. So it's like, I look at fixed water like frozen, right? It's frozen water. Like you may have some emotions and feelings that are stuck deep down there that you may have buried or suppressed, that you may not have released. Well, now is the time, especially with the sun shining its beams of, its high beams of light on your frozen water. It's melting, right? Let's just use this metaphorically, right? It's melting that frozen water to allow you to purge all of those energies, emotions, and feelings that you're holding on to. They become toxic. Just imagine a bowl of water sitting in a corner, right? You're not stirring it, it's not moving or anything, it's just sitting in the corner. Eventually, all of the atmosphere's energy and residue or what have you is going to collect in that water, right? And so now it's time for that water to be, cleansed. So for you, Scorpio, you're going to be seeing a lot of that going on with your first house in reference to you taking more care of yourself with Venus there, taking more care of yourself. Mercury's there, the way you communicate to the world and the way you present yourself to the world. You're going to be more clear and direct in your communication. You're still going to be scorpionic with it, but people will be able to somewhat, I feel, understand you a little bit more than they normally do, or you may be a little bit more transparent than you normally are. This may be a time where you can be open vulnerably. You may be a little bit more vulnerable emotionally, or people may just start to understand you, right? Because this is an energy of expressing yourself with Mercury there. Now, Mercury and Venus leave Scorpio, your first house, on the 15th and the 16th. And as we go through the month, on the 22nd, the sun goes into Sag. So these are going to be all in your second house. So this is your money house. So, Venus is a money planet and it's going into your money house, which is pretty dope. Your first house is money anyway. It's other people's money or money you get through other resources. So money could be looking really good for you all. It could be looking really good or it could be looking really suspect. But I feel like for most of you, it's going to be looking pretty decent, right? Especially once we get into the middle part of the month. Now, we got, let's talk about the solar eclipse or the lunar eclipse that's happening on the 8th. So in your opposite house of the 7th house of partnerships, contracts of all sorts, you have relationships and contracts, spiritual contracts, which are relationships you have with people, all right, 3D contracts, work related, things like that, and how you relate in these connections. That's your 7th house. We got the North Node there, and it's in the house of Taurus. So Venus rules Taurus. So, this is an energy here where you're definitely going to be looking at your money because Taurus is about money eaters. It also is about manifestation of money, right? Physical money, physical things. So for a lot of you, with Uranus here in retrograde and this full moon energy, there's going to be a lot of there could be some unexpected endings, unexpected beginnings in relation to your relationships, but it all has a lot to do with you and how you see yourself, what you value, what's important to you in these connections that you may be ending or beginning, right? So you could be considering ending some connections, business relationships, friendships, family relationships, based on how you feel that these people treat you. You know, do they value you? Can you trust them? Is there loyalty? You know, is it all about money? Things like that. So a lot of people can be dealing with those types of things, but I also feel like, you know, in reference to wills and estates, people will be dealing with that a lot right now. There could be some people dealing with tying up loose ends in reference to the passing of a loved one or a family member or a friend. And I'm sending my condolences all to you because, you know, that is what's going on. We are in Scorpio season. Scorpio is all about death and birth. And on the flip side, congratulations to all of you who have new additions to the family. Okay, whether it's a new baby, or it could be a new house, could be a new car, whatever you've acquired through, you know, someone passing away and passing that down to you. Some of you could be dealing with that, but whatever you're dealing with contractually, I feel like Mars and Gemini in retrograde is going to have some play in that. Um, it'll consist of like, yeah, Mars is in Gemini. Mars is in retrograde in your eighth house of Gemini. So, you know, as a collective, we're going to be experiencing delays in mail, delays in communication. You may have applied for some things, waiting on some responses. Somebody could be waiting on a response for you, but you can't do, you know, you can't respond because you're waiting on, you know, whatever it is you need to confirm what you can do. So there's just a lot of waiting, I feel like, in reference to documentation and paperwork. So just be patient. I feel like if you've been feeling okay, Mars went into retrograde on October 30th, but I was feeling these energies since the beginning of October. Okay, I had a vehicle on the way, and 3 different times the vehicle was delayed, like literally, literally. And I'm like, damn, it didn't even get into retrograde yet. So I'm an early October Scorpio though. So some of you early October Scorpios may have been experiencing issues with transportation, you know, moving around in your community. You may, if you're not driving, maybe experiencing issues with the transportation, the public transportation being late or delayed or not coming on time. It could be that Uber prices, if you take an Uber or Lyft, they may be going up, or you know, you may have longer waits in reference to waiting for a driver to come get you. Things like that. On the roads, people are bugging. Okay, just be careful. All right, you know, with Mars in retrograde, a lot of people, there's festering energy building up because people are delayed from taking action. Mars is all about taking action. Let's go right now. And when it's in retrograde, it's not taking action. And you know, when we're talking about communication, communication is quick, right? It's just sometimes it's, and so there's going to be delays. So just expect that, okay? Like I was saying earlier, those of us who were born in the earlier part of October, we may have been experiencing these energies at the beginning of October. So maybe now that it's going retrograde on the 30th, maybe that delay you've been experiencing for the first month of October, throughout the month of October, maybe things will start to kick in now. So if you were waiting on a response, waiting on a reply, yeah, they finally told me the car was supposed to be delivered 3 separate times, on the 12th, on the 21st, and then on the 30th. Well, I called them on the 29th and told them, you know what, don't even send it. I'm good. I'm going to go through another means of getting a vehicle because I was dealing with this company for a whole month and it was just delays. And then I didn't realize it. I'm like, damn, it's the Mars retrograde hitting me early. But I was just so fed up at that time. But then I realized, okay, maybe it's because it's not for me. You know, also this Mars in retrograde is the energy of you taking time to stop before you act. Read your contracts. Make sure you're getting what it is that you're supposed to be getting out of it. Don't rush anything. Whatever's meant for you is going to come. I want you to keep that in mind, Scorpio. What's meant for you is yours. All right. You know, you're a power influenced energy. So you're going to want to take action to do what it is that you're going to need to do to get what you need to get to expedite things. But let it play out the way it's supposed to play out. Be patient because there are other things going on behind the scenes because this is your 8th house that you have Mars in retrograde in. So there are things behind the scenes that you're not aware of. You know, there could be issues with the contract, and you may realize later on that, oh, damn, I'm glad I didn't sign that contract. Or, you know, the universe was telling me by delaying things that this wasn't for me. I just couldn't see it at the time, right? So just understand that what's going on for you, if it's delayed or slowed, it's divine timing for you. And just, you know, try to keep your cool and make plans in the event that things don't happen right away, you know, especially with your money. Keep your money tight, you know. Money should be good for you, but just watch it, you know what I mean? Because of delays, you may have to come out of pocket temporarily to suffice until things start flowing again. And no matter what it is, no matter what the situation is. It may cost you a little bit up front now to deal with it. So just have some money on the side. Um, in reference to your ideas, your thoughts, the way you see things, how you express yourself, socially, a lot of you are, you've evolved. You've come out of connections socially that maybe were not beneficial to you. And so now some of you are, you could have been solo doing your thing while Pluto was in retrograde in your third house. You may have just been not messing with anybody, not hanging out with anybody, just talking to who you needed to talk to. But I feel like on a social level, you're going to be more active. I feel like you're going to feel an energy of release and purge and of all old situations. And so now you're going to be open to going out and connecting with people and, making friends. So that's a beautiful thing. Now that Saturn is going direct in your fourth house, I feel like, as far as your emotions and things like that, you'll be more stable. Um, you'll be more apprehensive to, like, I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm like, instead of me just coming to people and being, yay, here I am, I'm just going to match their energy. Because I could be like, yay, here I am. And they're like, yay. You know what I'm saying? They only giving me a yay, but I'm like, yay. So I feel like in that sense, it's you're looking now and you're like, okay, I'm gonna match people's energy. So if they come at me with yay, I'm gonna come at them with yay. If they come at me with yay, I might come at them with yay, but I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just giving yourself to everybody, you're gonna be more discerning, okay, in reference to how you open up and when and who you open up to. And so those are going to be based on the relationships that you've been in the past and those lessons from that. So just trust that you've learned. It's okay to go out there now. Trust your instincts. You've learned some things. You've been through some things. Don't think that everybody's going to shit on you, because they're not. And you're not going to run into those same situations that you run into in the past. And if you do, you will recognize the red flags of it so quickly now that you won't even get anywhere near it. You won't even get anywhere as deep as you were before. Whether it's a contract, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a family dynamic where you guys may not have been talking and now you're talking again, whether it's people coming back to you from the past, you're not even going to be dealing with them in the same manner in which you dealt with them before. You're wiser now. You know what the dynamics were. You understood the dynamics between you and these people. So if you continue to deal with them, now you're going to be dealing with them on a whole nother level. And that's super cool, because the reality, forgive me, my neighbors are outside watching football, so they're, having fun. So you may hear people out there yelling and stuff. But I feel like, emotionally you're more stable with your relation, your energy now, and with Saturn and Aquarius in your fourth house, you know when to cut that off. When it comes to your emotions and feelings, you know how to taper it, how to be restrictive with it, to give what you get, and, make sure that it's balanced so that you're not being taken advantage of by family or by, people who you let into your private world. Now, your fifth house here is Pisces. You have Jupiter in retrograde and Neptune in retrograde. Now, this energy is a repeat of what we experienced. I believe it was the beginning of the summer. Damn, and I should have looked those. I should have looked those dates up. Let me see something. Jupiter. Because Jupiter was in retrograde in Pisces along with Neptune earlier in the year. And so you're gonna feel like it may be like repeat energy or repeat circumstances and situations in this area of your life. This is your fifth house, so this could have to do with your children. All right, so you may see repeating or reoccurring themes that may have occurred, like whatever you was going through in May. So like from May 13th to July 28th was when Jupiter and Neptune were in retrograde in your fifth house. So think back to what was going on around spring when the weather was breaking. May, that was Taurus season. So May 13th through July 28th. So that takes you all the way through Leo season. So whatever was going on from Taurus season to Leo season, some of the scenarios and situations you were experiencing then may show up again. All right, so you'll know it because it'll be like, yo, did I just go through this? Or, okay, this situation is reoccurring again, or I'm thinking about this situation or circumstances again. And these are going to be in the area of your children, or, your childhood issues or childhood traumas. This could also be energy of dating and flings and sexual, sexual escapades, things like that. So you may run into, someone from your past that you had a sexual fling with, a sexual, sexual situationship with. Like the fifth house doesn't deal with any. If it deals with relationships, it deals with the romance in an actual relationship. But other than that, Leo itself, when it comes to intimate connections with other people, they're for fun. They're not for long term or for seriousness, right? So for some of you, with Jupiter there in retrograde and Neptune in there, you're going to be seeing where someone, you could have been in a situation where people were taking advantage of you. Okay, whether it's your children, whether it's your lovers. Okay, in some way, shape, or form, you may have been in a situation where you were being taken advantage of, or you weren't getting the pleasure out of it, or it may have started pleasurable and then it ended like disastrous, or it may have started playful and then it didn't work out, or those types of things. But just pay attention to the common themes that may reappear that you might have been dealing with in May. And if it doesn't occur, it could just be the thoughts of the situation. Now, with your sixth house, we have Aries. This is your Aries house. This house is what you do on a regular basis, your patterns, your routines, the way you prioritize, what's important to you in your life, and the actions that you take to go about doing it. Also, the physical body and taking care of it, the health of the physical body. So for collective here, we have Chiron here. But for those of you who are about 51, 52, you could be experiencing, and you have natally, you have Chiron and Aries. This is your Chiron return, okay? So when it comes to taking better care of yourself, establishing routines and patterns to help you take better care of yourself, or establishing routines and patterns so that you're able to accomplish your goals, or making sure that you're prioritizing your time, energy, and effort to the things that are most important. These are going to be lessons that you've learned from the past that you're going to be looking at, or they're trials and tribulations that you've had in the past and you're learning to master them. These are going to be situations with Chiron. They're situations that you're going to live with for life, okay, with the Chiron energy. It's a matter of, okay, accepting it for what it is and just knowing that, this is going to be a constant uphill battle for you. For some of you, because it's in your sixth house, it has to do with taking better care of your health. And where's Mars? Mars is in your eighth house. So this is you changing your psychology around, the things that you do for yourself, your physical body, your health, making it a priority. So a lot of you, that's what you're going to be doing. Making your health a priority in some way, shape, or form. Your eating habits, your eating patterns, what you do, what you don't do, as far as keeping your body limber and making sure you take care of yourself. I feel like a lot of you are just looking back at that and looking at how you struggled with it and, starting a new course. It's like, okay, that didn't work. Let me get back on a horse, right? Or whether it's just, the habits you've occurred that are negative, that are not healthy for you. So maybe smoking, maybe you're cutting back, or for some of you, you may be feeling that some of the things that you got discipline on, you may be feeling a bit weak. Don't worry, it's just a transit. But don't go overboard and say, fuck it, I quit. Da, 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 da. It's the transit. So you may have a temporary setback, and it may last until the beginning of the year. Just know that, okay? So you may have to work a little bit harder, or, you may find yourself falling off the horse again. And it's just like, just know that it's the transit. Once it passes, you'll be able to get back on. Don't beat yourself up. It's very important, okay? Now, your seventh house, we talked about that with partnerships and Taurus being here. Taurus is all about the comforts in life, so, you may accidentally, and it's all about indulgences, the physical body as well, so I feel like you're going to be attracting people to you, Scorpio, who are going to want to be intimate to you, or maybe you may feel like your sexual desires are peaking, especially with these eclipses in Scorpio season. So that could be a case. One thing you could also do, Scorpio, is if you're not with a partner, it's okay to, I don't know if any of you tap into sexual energy and sexual magic, but it's okay to, if you're not with a partner, and because we're in eclipse season and we're all about relieving and removing toxic and negative energies, you could, masturbate to this energy right? And just ask that, while you're doing that, that you're removing any negative energy, any negative feelings or emotions or toxicity that's still attached, that you're discharging that, you're removing that. You're removing that from your life force, from your life energy, whatever that is, whatever life force in you that's attached to those energies, you're removing it. All right. So you can do, if you want to do some type of ceremony like candles, and just your intention is to remove, relieve, and release, right? You could do that in a sexual way because you do rule the sex organs. You rule the sexual energy that's exchanged between you and people, right? And how do you get that energy? You have sex. But you are such a powerful being because you are ruled by Pluto, which is power. You have the power to dispel that energy without being intimate with someone. You can be intimate with a person and dispel that energy as well. So if you're in a relationship or in a connection and you're still thinking about an ex, or you still have unresolved feelings about a family member or what have you, you and your partner can, have intimacy where you're able to help safely release that energy. Now, you do want to be careful with this energy, Scorpio, because this is not an energy where you want to be calling in anything. You want to release, okay? Now, I know we just had the new moon in Scorpio, and usually on new moons you do affirmations and manifestations to bring things in, but not while you're in an eclipse, not while it's surrounding eclipse, okay? Release, all right? So it's healthy for you to do it that way too, okay? Besides writing affirmations, because Mercury's in your, Mars is in your house, your Gemini house, so you can write affirmations as well, and burn them, because we got Mars in Gemini. So a great way to do things is to write down things that you want to release. I want to release and remove any negative energies or feelings um, that are toxic to whatever, however you want to word it. But make sure you understand, because Scorpio energy in the negative deals with negative, toxic emotions and feelings. It's a water energy. So make sure you start your, write a petition if you want to. That was the word I was thinking about the other time, and I couldn't get it out, having a brain fart. Because of that damn Mars in retrograde, that pre-Mars in retrograde energy in my Gemini house. I couldn't think. Anyway, somebody put it in the comments for me. Thank you so much. But yeah, you can write a petition, asking to remove any negative, toxic, leftover feelings from any relationships that you are no longer physically in. And even if you're physically in it, you can just ask to remove that buildup, because sometimes eclipses deal with buildup of emotion and energy, and you're going to have to do something with that energy. So you can transmute it if you're advanced enough to do so. Find something to transmute that energy into. If you don't have anything to transmute it into, let it out. Masturbate, meditate, whatever and as a Scorpio, I'm telling you this. I wouldn't tell nobody else that, but I would tell you as a Scorpio, you can go ahead and release that energy through masturbation, because you are a sexual sign, a sexual energy, and Scorpio energy deals with that. All right, so moving on. Speaking of which, your eighth house, Mars is in retrograde here, so you may not have as much sexual desire, or your desire may be turned up even more. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But again, learn how to transmute your energy. And if it's just a bunch of negative energy, then just figure out how to release it. Okay, masturbation is a great way to do it. But there's other ways you can do it too. You can go boxing, you can go running, you can go work out. Anything that's Mars induced. Mars is a warrior, is a fighter, Mars is synonymous with strong sexual energy and strong sexual activity. So any of these types of vigorous activities will help you to release. Okay. So let me see. What do you need to look out for? So in reference to you, what could be challenging you as far as, the new you, your solar return, you looking at what's important to you and what you value as far as how you put yourself out into the world. Just be careful of your lifestyle changes. So if you want people to value you and appreciate you, then you are going to have to, especially if there are people who are coming back into your life, because Pluto could deal with relationships that ended, but now these people are reintroducing themselves into your life for whatever reason. If you choose to deal with them, then just make sure, like I said, the versus the right? So just keep that in mind. That's going to be very important for you, right? Because you're going to be remembering how people treated you, right? And so that's going to be a direct opposition to your relationships, right? Your relationship house. But yeah, that's what I got for you, Scorpio. A lot of you could be dealing with breakups, situations where people are splitting apart, divorcing, separating, someone passed away, ending friendships, stop speaking to family members, things like that. But also, a lot of you could also be having some of these people come back. Some of you may have already cut out a lot of people, right? And now you're just in the midst of removing the attached emotions to it that may have been stuck in you, right? You're getting rid of that. And so now there may be some relationships that are being reintroduced to you, some are not. But the ones that are being reintroduced to you, this is where you are looking at what you've learned. Okay, there's a new karmic cycle starting with these people. And it's very important that you have learned so that you don't keep repeating the same mistakes. If they did you dirty and they keep showing that they've not changed, then keep that in mind when you're dealing with them, if you have to deal with them. Because some of us, we still have to deal with these people. You know, we may have children with them, or we may work with them, and we know that they are, a challenge to deal with. And so it could have been because you were too open to them or too giving to them, and they put you in a position where you were taken advantage of. Also, keep in mind, as I always tell you, Scorpios, you always attract the wounded. You attract that because of the fact that you are transformation. So you're attracting to you people who need to change in some way, shape, or form. They need to release the negative, toxic energy in their worlds. So as a result, they don't know that why they're drawn to you, and that's why. And you don't know why you're drawn to them, but that's why. So this is why you have to be very careful of the versus the match people's energy. Okay? Because they may indirectly be draining you and you don't even know it, and they don't even know it. Some people are not intentionally trying to hurt you, it's just they're so wounded, that's what happens. So you got to be careful not to be, long story short, intimate with these people and merge your energy with these people too quickly, whether it's sexually or whether it's just you being in their house all the time, or being around them all the time, or on the phone with them all the time, or hanging out with them all the time. That's how energies merge as well. All right. So that's what I got for you, Scorpio, for your November 2022 astrology read. If you need a personal, reach out to me. All of my information is in the box below. And don't forget to check me out on my other channel, which is the Many Styles of Tarot. And I'm also doing stuff on Patreon, so check me out there. Everything is in the box below, all right? I love you guys. I wish you the best. Happy birthday, Scorpio. I'll see you in the next reading.